Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Starting with the holy name of Allah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Oh my Lord, open my chest for me and make my task easy for me and untie the knot from my tongue so that they understand my speech. Today the talk of the day is, if you don't work hard for your dreams, you are going to end up being mediocre. Dear students, work hard and never give up on your dreams even when nobody else believes that these dreams can come true, but only you believes that your dreams will come true one day. Keep this thing in your mind, that building great businesses, achieving massive goals, and rising to the top of your profession just does not happen by accident. These are not accidents. If you are successful, if you are at the top of your profession, then definitely you have sacrificed a lot and you have worked hard. So work hard is the only key to success. Before starting our new topic, we must recall the concepts which we learned in the previous class. What is cube of a number? The cube of a number is a number which we get when a number is multiplied by itself 3 times. For example, 5 cube means 5 is multiplying by itself 3 times and we will get 125. So 125 is the cube of 5. What does cube root mean? The cube root of a number is the value when multiplied by itself 3 times give the original number. Let us see an example. Cube root of 125 is 5. Now, cube root of a number is the value. It means 5 is the value, and when 5 will multiply by itself 3 times, it will give you the original number, that is the radicand of your radical. So 5 is the cube root of 125. What is index of cube root? The index of cube root is 3. We learned in previous class that index is the small number which is written on the left side of the radical, and this index distinguish and it explains us that we are working on which root. If it is written 3, then it means we are dealing with cube roots. If it is written 4, then it means we are dealing with fourth root, and so on. What is the cube of minus 1? We will write it like this: minus 1 cube, and minus 1 cube will be equal to minus 1. When minus is multiplying by itself 3 times, we will get a negative answer. माइनस माइनस से मल्टीप्लाई होके प्लस, एंड देन अगेन प्लस जब माइनस से मल्टीप्लाई होगा तो यू विल गेट माइनस. सो द क्यूब ऑफ minus 1 is equal to minus 1. Now we move toward our today's topic, the cube roots of negative integers. We will follow the same strategy, the same methods as we discussed in our previous lesson of finding the cube roots of perfect integers. There will be little bit different steps. So, cube roots of negative integers. There is one interesting fact about cube roots that is not true for square roots. Negative numbers can't have real number square roots, but negative numbers can have real number cube roots. Now, what is the reason that why negative numbers can't have real number square roots? The reason that we can't have the square root of negative number is that two negatives always cancel to give a plus. means when minus multiplied with minus, you will always get a plus sign. So the square root of a negative number is undefined. Yes. See an example. For examples, you are going to find square root of minus 64. So square root of minus 64 is not equal to minus 8 multiplied by minus 8, because when minus minus multiplied, it will become plus 64. So minus 64 is not equal to minus 8 multiplied by minus 8. So we will say that minus square root of minus 64 is undefined in the real number system. A negative number's cube root will always be negative. As we discussed in the previous slide, that the cube of a negative number is always negative. So definitely the cube root of a negative number will always be negative. When working with exponents, the only way to get the negative result is to raise a negative number to an odd power. We have learned laws of exponents in our previous grade 7, and we learned this, that when a negative base is raised to an odd power, then our result is always negative. And if our negative base is raised to an even power, we will always get a positive result. So since cubing a number means raising it to third power, which is odd, so the cube roots of negative numbers must also be negative. Let's look at a perfect cube example because it's easier to write. We are going to find cube root of minus 64. Now, using the laws of exponent, if it is written only minus 4, it means that minus 4 has its exponent 1. If it is minus 4 raised to power 1, 1 is an odd power, so your answer is negative. If it is minus 4 square means minus 4 is multiplying by itself 2 times. So the negative base is raised to even power and you get 16. So 16 is positive. Then minus 4 raised to power 3. Minus 4 is multiplying by itself 3 times. Negative base is raised to an odd power, so you get your answer as minus 64. Now when we move toward the cube root of minus 64, we will get our answer as minus 4. If you recall the definition, that cube root is the value which when multiplied by itself 3 times, you get the original number, you get the radicand. So you can see that when minus 4 is multiplying by itself 3 times, you will get minus 64. So the cube root of minus 64 is equal to minus 4. When the exponent is odd, like 1 or 3, the result is negative, as we discussed earlier. When exponent is even, like 2, the result is positive. Cubes always involve multiplying a number by itself 3 times. So if the number is negative, the cube will always be negative, and if the cube is negative, its cube root has to be negative too. A number into prime factors, and then after resolving the number into prime factors, we will group together the triples of like prime factors. After making the triplets, if no factor is left ungrouped, then the given number is a perfect cube. Now, let us discuss an example. This is exercise 3, question number 8. Your question is, which of the following are cubes of negative integers? Now, the number is minus 512. The question statement of the question is very clear, that you don't have to find the cube root of a negative integer. They are asking which of the following are cubes of negative integers. In simple words, you have to check either minus 512 is a perfect cube or not. So following the same steps, first of all we'll find the prime factors of minus 512. Test of divisibility will help you. Using tests of divisibility, I have made the prime factorizations of 512. After making the prime factorization, the second step is you have to make the triplets. Now since it is minus 512, and you can see that here we haven't written minus over here. So to make it negative, you will multiply all the prime factors with minus 1. So minus 1, then we have made the triplets, then write the triplets in the cubic form. So we have got minus 1 cube. As you know that 1 is a friendly number, whatever exponent is taken on it, it will always remain 1. Now since we need minus 1, so we have taken here cube. As we discussed that negative base raised to an even power will give you a negative result. So if it is minus 1 cube, you will again get minus 1. Then following the laws of exponent, we have written them under single power. In this case, we have the same bases and same powers, but here minus 1 is a different base. Now, as we are finding that either the number is a cube of negative integer or not, you will see that minus 512 is equal to minus 8 cube. All the factors are grouped into triplets. So, how will we explain our answer? The prime factors of minus 512 can be grouped into triplets of equal factors. Hence, minus 512 is cube of minus 8. Now, these are the steps which you have to perform. I think the solution is same as we discussed in our previous lecture, in which we have to check whether the number is a perfect cube or not. I hope that you have understood. Let's see part. Okay, ji. Now the second part of the question, again you have to check whether 1209 minus 1296 is a cube of negative integer or not. Same procedure will be followed. First of all, we will make the prime factors of minus 1296. Then minus 1 will be written like this, and then we have to make the triplets. You can see that 2 is grouped into triples of like factors, then 3 is grouped into triples of like factors. But the 2 and this 3, they did not make any triplet. How we will write? It will become minus 1 cube, 2 cube, this is 2, this is 3 cube and 3. Now you can see that these 2 and 3, these two factors are left and they did not make any triplet. So only minus 1, 2 and 3, they form the triplets, but these 2 and 3 are left. So how we will explain our answer? The prime factors of minus 1296 cannot be grouped into the triplets of equal factors. Hence, minus 1296 is not a cube of any negative integer. In this way, you have to solve your question properly and you have to explain your answers. Now, the cube root of negative integers. First of all, you will write your question under the radical symbol and you will write it as cube root of minus 5832. Then the prime factors, you have to make the prime factors of minus 5832. And as I am time and again I am repeating that tests of divisibility will be very helpful for you to make the prime factorizations of these larger numbers. So please keep on revising. After making the prime factorizations, you will you will write them there, you will make the triples of equal like prime factors. Again, as we discussed in previous slides, you will write -1 like this. Then taking the cubic powers, इनको आप exponent form में change करेंगे, -1 cube into 2 cube into 3 cube into 3 cubes. All the factors are in triplets. This shows that 5832 is a perfect cube, so its cube root is possible. Now we will write them like this. First of all, you have done this. Okay, you can then at the end you can take cube root of -18 on this, and you can also start taking cube roots from this step as well. So as we discussed in our previous lesson, you can start taking cube root from this step as well. And if you are not taking cube root, then this step is also okay, that after making it a perfect cube, then you will take cube root on both sides. And as we learn that cube and cube root are reciprocals of each other, when they come together they will cancel out each other. And yes, I have shown it 3, and this cube root means 1 upon 3. So cube and cube root are reciprocals of each other, they will cancel out each other, and you will get your answer as -18. So cube root of -5832 is -18. If you can check, if -18 will be multiplied by itself 3 times, you will get -5832. If you haven't get the original number, if you haven't got the radicand, as we discussed that cube root is the value which when multiplied by itself 3 times you should get the radicand. And if you multiplied your value and you didn't get this radicand, it means your solution is wrong. Then again check your prime factorization, and you will have to do the solution again. In this way you can also check your solutions that either it is right or wrong. Okay. Now find the cube root of -17,576. First of all, you have to write your question in this form. This is very important. Then you have to find the prime factors of -17,556. Okay, after making the prime factors, we have made their triplets, the triples of like prime factors, and we will write them in the cube form. Okay, and then we got the perfect cube, -26 cube. So now taking cube root on both sides, and cube root are reciprocals of each other, they will cancel out each other, and you will get your answer as -26. So you will explain your answer like this. Hence the cube root of -17,576 is -26. And similarly you can check your answer by multiplying -26 by itself 3 times. If you get radicand that this number 17,576, your solution is correct. Okay. Now this is question number 10 of your exercise 3. Find the value of the following. Now whatever we have learned in previous slides, that we were having a single number and we were either taking the cube root of that number, or we were just checking that either the number is a perfect cube or not. Now it involves the operations of different multiplication and division, that if they are connected with the signs of multiplication and division, how we will simplify them. So first of all, we resolve the given integers into prime factors. We will make the prime factorizations of these numbers, like 343. The prime factorization of 343 is 7 into 7. Then 8, and prime factorization of 8 is 2 into 2 into 2. And then here you should be very careful. We are having minus sign with it. So as we discussed in the previous examples, we will this minus 1 will be written as minus 1 cube, and then we will break this number 2744 into prime factors. Then we will write them cube root, and then the radicand will be written in the form of a cube. It will become cube root of 7 cube and cube root of 2 cube, then divided by minus 1 cube. We will separate them, and then cube root of 2 and cube root of 7. So cube and cube roots are reciprocals of each other, so they will cancel out each other, and you will get 7 multiplied by 2 divided by, it will become minus 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 7, and we will get 14 divided by minus 14, and our answer is minus 1. Hence the value which you got is minus 1. And students, you cannot just write these prime factorization orally. You have to make these prime factorization. These are the part of your solution, and you have to show these steps in your calculations. So you will not do direct, you will not break them mentally. You have to show these prime factorizations in your solutions as well. Now next example. This is the fourth part. You have to take the cube root of 1331 multiply by cube root of 8 multiply by cube root of 1000. All the three values are positive. First of all, resolve the integers into prime factors. We will make the prime factorizations, and then we will write them as I discussed earlier, that either you can take the cubes from the very beginning, cube roots from the very beginning, or you can make the triplets and then convert into cubes, and then you can take the cube root on both sides. I have chosen this because if I used to take the cube roots at the very beginning, so I have enough space on the slides, and they were dispersing, so it was little bit confusing for you. That's why I have used this method. You can also follow the method, the steps which we have discussed in previous part. So in this way, when cube and we have converted into a perfect cube, it has become 220 cube. So cube and cube root will cancel out each other, and you will get your value as 222. In this way, nothing is new. Instead, that the few operations are involved between two or more expressions. In this way, you will be able to complete your exercise questions. Now, let us discuss the key points which we have discussed. I think it is enough for you. The key points today we have done are that a negative number's cube root will always be negative. The index of a cube root of negative integer is always 3. When you are taking cube root, either you are dealing with positive integers or negative integer, your index will always be 3. And as cubes always involve multiplying a number by itself 3 times, so if number is negative, the cube will always be negative, and if the cube is negative, then cube root has to be negative too. Then we discuss about finding a perfect cube of negative integers. We have followed the steps that first of all we will resolve the given number into prime factors, then group together the triples of like prime factors, and if no factor is left ungrouped, then the number is a perfect cube. And the cube root of minus 64 will be written as this, and the cube root of a perfect negative cube can be determined by finding the prime factors. And we have to follow the same steps. First of all, resolve the given number into prime factors, then group together the triples of like prime factors, and then take out one factor from each group. Now it's your turn, your homework you have to do. We have discussed two parts of question number 8 exercise 3 on these slides. Now the remaining 3 you have to do yourself. And then question number 10, two parts I have discussed with you, and these three parts you have to do on your notebooks, and then you have to upload your homework on the Google Classroom. Google Classroom code is given to you. I hope that you have understood the topic well and you will be able to do your homework independently. And if you have any question, if you have any query, please leave your questions in my Google Classroom. I hope that you have understood. Now till tomorrow. Allah Hafiz class. Thank you.